Patience
You got
is
it.
a virtue.
Huh? Right, Treasury? Do you want Tracy to go?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, I'm gonna move. Okay, and Susie's going to walk you through a few things. So,
Well, looking through yours, it didn't look that complicated. It looked pretty, yeah. Oh, there she is.
Oops.
Oh, great.
I don't want hangry men here.
Wow.
You know, sweeten the deal here.
Is this the same one as before, or is
Yeah.
this additional?
A
Okay.
couple,
No, no, I'm good.
just in case.
You're
Thank you.
making me suspicious about what we're getting here.
I thought we were just gonna go over numbers.
She wants you eating candy so you can't ask questions.
Susie Moon, Finance Manager. So after the budget retreat, Kathy and I, we put together all of the suggestions that we got from the various departments and put together preliminary numbers based on departments' historical spending for 2023, 2024, compared that to what they budgeted in 2025, and then gave every department basically what we would budget for 2026, line by line. And we gave that information to all departments just as suggestions so they could keep those numbers in mind as they prepare their budgets for 2026. One of the recommendations that we had gotten out of the retreat was cutting like travel-related expenses by 50%. Tracy did a really good job and actually cut more than 50% for those lines. So she's going to go through her budget for 2026 and 2027.
Good morning, good afternoon, Commissioners. Tracy Jackson, Building and Planning. I just put together kind of the basic budget presentation for you. We have a very vanilla budget request. We're really status quo for the next 2 years. I have 4 funds that I manage downstairs: the Community Long Range Planning, the Boundary Review Board, GIS O&M. GIS, a person came into my office prior to me going down there, and the fund followed the program. And then our building and planning, which is the permitting fund. So of those 4 funds, I just broke down the professional services line. That's probably our biggest line that we pay out of besides the direct labor. And you can see that most of our stuff, we just split into, it depends on if it's permit related or if it's community-wide. Cowlitz 2 is one of our bigger vendors, and then our Acela permit system is the other one. The rest is just Townsend, West Coast, and Scrubmeyer. Those are the 2 agencies and businesses that we have in our back pocket if we get busy and we have to contract out our plan review. Those are those 2, and then the hearing examiner when we get applications in. So there's a little bit of money there. But for the most part, I cut about 75 to 80% out of my travel and training and all of the funds. We only have money sitting in there for the certifications that have to be recertified in the next, either this next year or the following year for certain individuals. But for the most part, I mean, unless it's mandated by the state, we've taken everything out. I'm not requesting any new personnel, and in fact, I'm going to give up one of my code tech positions. It's not filled. We've had a hard time filling it, and it's sitting on the books. It counts against us as overhead, so I'm going to take that out of my budget. And if we happen to find an applicant or someone interested that has the certifications and the experience, I would come back and ask the board if we could fill it, if we had that need. But for right now, we don't have that need, so we'll take that off the books. And we're not proposing any fees either. We'll just be status quo for the next year. We had talked about it originally, and I have enough cash balance, about $1.7 million we have invested, that if we get into desperate times and we don't get any permits in the door, I would use that cash balance to fund my staff. So I think we're, to me, flush for the next year, and no requests that I have.
Tracy, do you have a succession program in building and planning for if somebody suddenly decides to leave to another job or
We
different
do.
place?
We do. We have backup for pretty much every position in there except for Mike Wilson and I at this point.
I was gonna ask who yours was.
Yep. I'm working on that. Yep. I did put in my, I did fill out an IT request in the budget packet for a Wi-Fi booster. And I don't know what the cost is of that. I kind of sprung it on IT before. We have, our phones don't really work downstairs, even to send anything. People will see me walk out to towards the parking lot, and then it'll go through. And then I come back in the office. If I attach something on the phone or anything, it doesn't go through. And since we're online paperless, it would be, I can't even say, I'd be over the moon if we could get a Wi-Fi booster downstairs or within the building, because we have contractors that have to do the same thing. Or they've started the application and then it's stuck in the middle, and then they have to run outside to get stuff to send to us. It's not very practical. And with today's day and age and everybody's got everything on their phones, it'd be nice to have that ability downstairs. I know Noxious Weeds has problems with the first floor reception as well. And I know there's other spots in the building that are kind of
Is the
blocked
whole
out.
first floor like that, you think?
Most of it is, even in the deli area, it's, I mean, nothing kind of around it, and you still really have to walk out, probably about 20 to 25 feet
Get
out of the
outside,
building.
yeah.
Have we ever had IT do an evaluation of the building for Wi-Fi reception in the whole building? I would think that'd be.
I
pretty
don't know that we,
straightforward.
I don't know.
at least the
It-
time I've been here.
I
we've
did
never
put
had
in a request to,
That's-
because that would
You
be,
did? I thought you
I
were
did.
going to. Okay.
no, I did. I did submit one. And I will gladly, when IT goes over their budget, I will come in and beg for that. I mean, it's for my customers, so it would be nice.
Yeah, big time. Okay.
Yeah, and environmental health, theirs is all online as well, so it would completely benefit them as well.
When did you?
Surprised
put
we
that in?
didn't hear about this a long time ago.
I know. Well,
You're just
we
kind of going along, aren't you?
do, we limp along. We don't ask for things unless we really need them, but it is kind of the way business is going, so it would be nice. And like I said, I don't know how expensive that is, but
Is that what the Snickers was for? Was that asked right there?
no, just to be nice.
Boy, we've been in this building for so long. I wonder why somebody didn't say something before. Yeah, anyways,
We just, there's
we
things
know
that-
about it now, so.
there's things that matter and things we just, we deal with things. We just
Yeah,
limp
I-
along.
I've seen you walking around. Can you hear me now?
That's me.
Doing a commercial,
Yeah.
That's me.
trying to upgrade wagon wheels to rubber tires.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I have, unless you guys have questions for me.
If
I
I'm
did
look-
present this to the BPAC, our advisory committee, and nobody even asked questions. We didn't have much heartburn, so.
if anything, BPAC was, somewhat encouraging, or that if you needed new fees, they were saying that we had room to
Mhm.
grow them, because they were comparing them to Lewis County as much higher in some
A
areas.
lot higher.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know about, we'll just pick on Lewis County, is they don't have a landfill, so that they don't have 7.5 million that comes in their general fund. So I don't know if they try to make it up in other things, that I don't know.
I
But
don't
I do
know.
know that their fees are quite a bit more.
In 2010, 2008, we got our hands slapped pretty good. The permitting fees that came in the door had to go for permitting activity. That's when.
Okay, so
So
they-
in 2010, that money was completely separated and that was quite an ordeal back then. And that's when this
probably
enterprise
you're-
fund came
you're
about.
An enterprise fund, because it stays
Yes.
in your.
And that's why I've got the split right now. And as time's gone on, we have to make sure that the work that is being done is actually permit work. Like the comp plan is community-wide, so that is completely general fund work, but the other work is permitting.
The only
Yeah,
other thing I was
people
gonna
do that,
ask you,
but-
and I don't have a preference either way, I just hear about it at times. Some places, they charge an all-inclusive fee
Mhm.
versus individual fees for different things. What's your thoughts on that? Don't know what I have.
So an industrial project for multi-millions would be the same price as a.
No, they just,
Chair ramp, that would
they
be
just
tough.
like to have a grading permit fee and this fee and this fee, no long, and some will just say, for $5,000, it gets you through this many permits,
I'd be afraid that it would hurt the smaller projects.
Like I said, I don't have a preference one
That
or
would,
the other.
that would
I
be my
just-
biggest fear is, and those smaller projects are usually the homeowner, the mom and pop of the world that are doing it themselves. Where the construction company would pay more, be willing to pay more or a set fee. They're just gonna push it onto their customer anyways.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I'll have to think about that again though.
I-
That was just my gut reaction.
Well,
Think about it.
I think you're probably pretty close. I didn't,
I don't know. I would worry about the smaller projects
yeah,
getting lumped into that, larger amount.
yeah. I could see that, because some of those, I could go out and point some places, a couple
Mhm.
places where homeowners has tried to do their own, and they're still sitting there
Yep.
2, 3 years later.
Yep, we limp those along.
Yeah.
The other thing I was just gonna say is, as we've taken on building or, private roads, we might try to streamline some of those permit fees and put them more into one. Not every one of the permit fees needs, or, for a private road needs an excavation and grading permit. But if they do, I think I want to try to combine, so they're not paying for separate fees, it's just a permit. I think it would be
A
a smoother
permit.
process on
Right.
our end.
Yeah.
I think it would be a smoother process on the internal side.
Yeah.
So we're gonna look into that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So next up is going to be the treasurer.
No pressure, but the last person brought candy.
Sorry. Good afternoon, Deborah Gardner, Cowlitz County Treasurer. Here to talk about our budget. So I manage 3 different funds, the general fund, we have treasurer O&M and treasurer investment fund. The O&M fund is for foreclosures, so the foreclosure activity and any fees that are charged for personal property collections and any delinquent tax collections. And the investment fund is for the investment pool, and we have our participants that pay a fee to the pool, and that fee is collected to pay for the expenses of that fund. So it's strictly to pay the expenses from the fees that we collect. I don't have a lot in my budget to cut besides personnel. So I did, we came up with an idea to take one of our positions. Here's some candy. We're supposed to take it up there.
Trick or treat.
This, all right.
Now you started something.
I know it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
trying to spike our blood sugar.
I know it.
So a couple ideas we had is we took a percentage of my salary and my chief deputy's salary, and, because we do manage those other two funds as well, so we put a small percent that we are changing our cost combo codes for those. So working with Kathy, we were able to do that now, because it's really not a budgeted, it's helping the general fund, and it's just changing the combo codes. So we did that, and that saved a little bit. And then one of my employees, I will bring this back for personnel requests. I want to take one of my positions and change the job description to include part of the personal and foreclosure deputy's position to help, because anyway, I can tell you more about that, but if I get that job description changed, that will have to go through the whole process, then we can change the combo code for that position and pay 50% out of general fund and 50% out of treasurer's O&M.
Yeah,
And-
I saw that through here.
Yeah, and right now, when the front counter staff, when they have free time, they will help out with collections. And I kind of talked about this in the past, but when I came on as treasurer, we don't do personal property distraints. So if a personal property tax is delinquent, they're due April 30th. We're supposed to be out there on May 1st foreclosing on the personal property. And that was one of the things we've never done. And we're being more proactive in collecting the taxes, so we don't have to deal with that, because that's a nightmare to try to manage distraint on personal property. So when last year, Kaylee, my foreclosure deputy, when she took over the position, there were around 300 properties that were delinquent in personal property, and that's because they weren't really ever worked very hard. And that was some that even had multiple years delinquencies. And as of today, which we only had one left that had multiple years that were delinquent from prior year, that one paid today. So right now, we're just looking at 25 delinquencies, and we're down to 60 of them, I think.
Wow.
So we're just trying to be proactive up front, and then we don't have to deal with distraint. So
What's the
You were-
time period when it becomes delinquent to?
so we have personal property, which is different than the real property. The personal property is the equipment that the business owners own. It's supposed to be, they're due April 30th. It's supposed to be May 1st that we
So
distrain.
it's immediate.
Mm-hmm,
Wow.
yeah.
And I think you were explaining at one point in time, those are kind of difficult, because if they go out of business, you go out there and nothing's there.
Yeah.
It's not like real estate where it's still there.
Yeah, and being more proactive, we're working closely with the assessor's office, and if businesses are closed, or, we find out information, we're sharing it with them and trying to keep everything more up to date and current. So with that, if that gets approved in the personnel process in October, I had in here that it would, just with the other changes, I gotta get my glasses on. We're looking at saving the general fund around 43,000, and if this budget, this personnel request goes through, it'll be more like 89,000 to the general fund. And then I put 27 on here. The only difference for the 27 is, there's the cost of living and the step increases and the additional IT fees that those are gonna go up. And so that the savings to next year will be a less. The second page, I had the narrative of the changes, and that was talking about those combo code changes that I was talking about. The other change is, s- in 2025, our investment banking officer, her position is all the direct payroll comes out of general fund. We just do a transfers in from the treasurer investment fund to general fund in the amount of 65,000. Starting January 1 of 26, we're going to change that to that position's paid 50/50, 50% out of general fund and 50% out of the investment security fund, or treasurer investment fund. So that will not really save the general fund a lot of money because we were doing that 65,000 transfers in. That's going to go away, but it will be a little bit more because of the, one of the other things that goes along with personnel is how the IT allocations are split out and all those other things. So it'll save a little bit there. I reduced the overtime by 1,000. We haven't used any overtime over the last couple years, and so I thought, well, we can reduce that 1,000. We had extra help payroll in there. It was only 1,020, but we don't ever use any extra help, so I reduced that. We reduced meals and lodging, mileage, tuition, travel type items by 33,750. One thing that I've been doing as well for a conference, and if I go to a conference and there's education on foreclosure and investments, I take that fee and divide it across my 3 funds because I'm there, representing all 3 of the funds and training for all of them.
Deborah, I want to go up to one of the bullet points with regards to IT charges. How would we justify IT charges into the investment fund?
Personnel, because the IT is taking the employees and how that allocation is divided up. Yeah. So, you have something to say to that?
Yeah, so each employee's provided a laptop, and that's part of the cost allocation for that. So if that employee is now paid out of a different fund, their associated laptop could be moved to that fund as well.
I see.
I did have an increase in here to postage, and I put in 1,000 for 26 and 1,000 for 27. I don't even know if that's enough because the postage
I know.
keeps going up.
Yeah, I know it.
And I think I read on the USPS that they have like a 10-year plan to every year there's going to be an increase.
10-year plan to keep raising it and still be insolvent.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they had some 10-year plan on there. I'm like, okay, so I have had to have a couple budget adjustments for postage because
Yeah.
it's been going up and we have to send out those statements. I did put a $1,000 increase into supplies because the cost of supplies seems to keep going up. We try to keep it down, but we put a little bit in there. And that last bullet point was just discussing, the difference from 26 to 27 because the only change there was the cost of living and step increases in the IT allocations. I didn't really put any revenue in here, information on that because I don't control the revenues in my treasurer's general fund. It's property taxes and leasehold tax, timber tax, interest and penalty, interest earnings. I did talk with Kathy and we did estimate an interest earning in there. I can't remember what it was exactly, but I don't know I don't know if you've seen the Feds drop the rate a 1/4% today.
Drop it today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said they're gonna drop it again, hopefully in December, yeah.
Yeah, they're
2 more
talking,
times.
their predictions were 2 more cuts this year and then 1 in 26.
Well,
So,
inflation stays down, that's usually what they use to control that, so. It doesn't help us on the investment side, maybe helps on the,
Cost of living
yeah,
increases.
well, and it helps on business investment side,
Yeah.
so you weigh it off, but
yeah. So we, I think we put a number in there that was conservative, for interest earnings because it's hard to say exactly.
our portfolio, they built it around kind of a year, so it should hold pretty well for a while,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
They've done a good job.
Yeah, speaking of that, we need to renew that contract this by the end of the year. Yeah, so we'll talk about it at the finance committee and then I'll bring it to the board. So, the treasurer's O&M fund, the expenditures in here are, the increases are going to be that difference of changing those combo code allocations to this fund. And then if that personnel request gets approved, there'll be additional expenditures in this fund due to that. The treasurer's O&M fund is a restricted fund. It was established under this RCW 8456-020. And it basically, the direct costs arising from foreclosure and distraint and sale on real and personal property for delinquent taxes must be credited to the treasurer's O&M fund. And then these funds are then available to the treasurer as a revolving fund to cover the costs arising from foreclosure and distraint on real property. Like I said, if the personnel requests are approved, additional portion of that position will be paid out of this fund. The treasurer's investment fund, the expenditures in there are just that we have the cost, the payroll for the half of the employee. We pay for our Simpro, which is our investment program. And the advisor is paid out of this fund. So the expenditure amount that we come up with is, we turn around for the revenue and estimate the percentage that we're going to charge the participants to raise enough funds to cover this.
Oh, I
And
see.
yeah, so then that amount will change every year depending on what our balance in the pool is, our portfolio, and how much the expenditure, and we'll just divide that out and get the percent, and that's what we charge the participants.
Do all of our municipalities participate in this with us?
Yes, anyone that we are the treasurer for, yes, everybody is in our pool. I mean, this is their only option.
So they don't have another option then?
Yeah,
Okay.
when we created the pool, before we had the pool, we were basically only investing in the LGIP, which, if it's a short term and it does follow the Fed funds rate. And right now it's been great, but at one point it was like 0.1. So, creating the pool also allowed us to divide out the fees to all the participants. So, even though we're paying for an advisor, the county's not just paying for that. All of the districts, all of us, anybody that I'm investing for gets
Yeah.
to share in those
How many
costs.
Do you have? You have the cities, school districts? Right,
The
that-
cities, I'm not treasurer for. We collect their
Okay.
property taxes, but we just turn it over to them.
Okay.
But I added them up. We have about 150 different funds in there. And
Yeah.
that's not like 150 different districts, but the school districts, have like 5 funds, and the port might have 3, or, they have different funds. their reserve fund or their debt service fund or their general fund. And so, yeah, we have fires and cemeteries and the ports and the schools and the diking districts and all of the county funds.
Does RIT, are they responsible for PIMCO? Is that what you said? The software that we use,
Sempro,
Semco?
Sempro.
Okay, does RIT manage that or do they have people that manage that for you?
Sempro is a program that we purchased and we pay an annual, an annual fee for support and upgrades and all that. And, yeah, as far as setting it up and if we have any issues, yeah, Sempro will work with IT to, take care of those things. So, yeah. The fee for Sempro gets paid out of the pool. So yes, that's the narrative on the investment pool. We created the pool in '23, so that was our first year. We started with 0 funds in there. And so we kind of, that transfer out that we were doing instead of just charging the payroll to that fund worked out because we didn't have cash in there to pay a monthly payroll fees. And we could do that transfer out at the end of the year. We have a little bit of cash flow in there now that we can change it over to the direct payroll where it hits on a monthly basis. And, but we will adjust that fee that we're charging so that we don't get a large amount in there. We'll just have enough to cover our expenses with a little bit of extra for cash flow. All right, that's all I have for these, this presentation. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
All right, I'll be back in October to talk more about that personnel change.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
The last department is gonna be the museum. Is he online?
He has till 3:30? It's,
5 minutes away.
do you,
No, it's 5 to 3. That's till 3:30.
He's scheduled at 3:30. He's 35 minutes away.
Yeah, 35 minutes away, yeah.
his is
Go on the phone.
so small. Do you need Joseph?
We can proceed.
You want to try and proceed?
Yeah, that works.
I think his is pretty straightforward and
Yeah.
small.
You might be
We
better.
pay a little bit for over there, but the major thing is right out of the historical society and stuff funds a lot of that, so it's not even us.
Probably give him the courtesy of a shot at it and see where he's at. Might see if you can get a hold of him and
Yeah.
before we jump out of this, jump into this, whatever it is.
In case he had something he wanted to show us.
Yeah,
I was gonna say-
I was just worried about those white gloves.
Not, I like Joseph.
Yeah.
Too.
You'd enjoy Snickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, two candies that I like.
Sitting right in front of you, aren't you? Yeah. I know it.
Want me to eat those for you?
Commissioner Farrell didn't waste any time over here.
Hell no, I said trick or treat.
Helps it actually,
Helps your blood sugar.
not my appetite.
I'm working across the street and one of the guys over there was EMT by background and he just shake his head looking at me going, you gotta be the most insulin resistant person I've ever seen with all that sugar you.
Because of the candy and stuff?
And real sugar Pepsi that I drink all the time and.
Yeah.
He's going, my God, have you ever checked your blood sugar? Well, my ex-wife, she was diabetic, so she was checking her blood sugar all the time. So I said, well, okay, I'll eat what you eat, check my blood pressure, or my blood sugar. And so we checked my blood sugar when she checked hers before she ate, check it again after hers would go, and mine was just rock solid, just barely move. It didn't matter what I ate. I could eat any damn thing under the sun. My blood sugar was just solid. Used to drive her crazy. No,
Joseph is getting on.
yeah, he's there. Joseph.
You
Oh,
need
I
a
see you.
signature? But just come up and have it signed. You brought us candy. You can come up and have it signed. Yeah, that's fine. Is that that grant one?
One that we passed, just right underneath it, yeah. I put my name there.
Do you ever build into building and planning budget anything for enforcement fees, like for violations of stop work orders for the penalties that exist in the county code? Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Least I can do, you know.
Maybe I should go get some more.
I still got
I
one.
was just thinking I have to go to Walmart and get a trick or treat bag.
Thank you.
Now she knows how to shut me up, huh? Stack the candy up in front of Commissioner Farrell. Yeah.
I told you those stairs would be hard.
So we should have him just start talking then.
Yeah.
So we have Joseph with the museum. They do not have any revenue, so there's no budget for revenue to go over. His presentation does highlight the areas that he did make cuts in, so I'll let him talk about those adjustments.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The budget reductions here are fairly simple. We have the minor equipment, that 22,000 is representative of the reader board project. I think we went over that a little bit on Monday. The meals and lodging, I worked on this with Suzette and came up with a reduction of 50% from 800 to 400. Tuition and registration reducing 50% from 600 to 300. The lease and rental equipment's for the photocopier, and that's, I think Suzette, you actually modified that slightly, I think, just to align with the current expenditures of $67. The interesting outlier here is the PUD was in 2025 for some reason was at 23,000, but we're looking closer at the 11,000. Expenses is what we're targeting for 26 and 27, barring any changes from utilities. And it looks like we have a $300 reduction also in Kelso utilities. And then eliminating the photocopy and printing and binding budget for a total of $36,050 reduction.
Just to back up slightly, I'm realizing we had made adjustments to this after we sent over the presentation. So he has referenced a couple lines that you guys aren't seeing, and that's related to the copier.
Oh, okay.
How do we get a $12,000 reduction in our PUD?
I know it.
Because
Yeah.
I want to use that for my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, why the drastic change for the PUD from 25 to 26? That's a hell of a drop.
So, yeah, that line was previously over budget, so like the number was too high originally. So Joseph and I looked at historically what we had paid in 2023 and 2024 and where we were through June of this year to come up with our budget of 11,000 for 2026 and 2027.
So that's basically closer to actuals.
Correct.
Okay.
And for your budget, Joseph, that's a pretty significant reduction.
Yeah, it is for the budget for the museum. It's significant.
Mm. Good job.
So you can do that at your house, just over budget by 3 times.
Yeah. Oh, over budget for a couple of years and then, oh, look at this. I know.
How much money I can
Look what
spend.
I did, honey.
Girl math. Sales, so I saved money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wife uses.
Don't take that at all.
Oh, yeah, HVAC. That was in 2021, I think. So we had a HVAC replacement in, we believe it was in 2021, that Kathy mentioned. Harvey? Oh, Sean mentioned it. But I think that was covered by insurance. But energy consumption went down because we had a new system. So our HVAC system at the museum prior to 2021 was older than its life expectancy by many, many years. And then incidentally, the unit was stolen over the course of a week. Somebody came by, took one unit, and when they took the secondary unit, even though it was slated for replacement, but it had been stolen and it was a insurance claim, and then we had a new unit, and that might be part of why we see this reduction, because we have a much more efficient unit that's in there right now.
Yeah.
Somebody may bring those back after they realize how inefficient they are.
Yeah.
And we put it behind chain link, didn't we?
And we have the razor wire, that
Yeah, we got the
coiled
razor
razor wire
wire.
all around it. So we haven't had
Protect it.
Somebody
any
did us a-
problems.
Somebody did us a favor so we could claim it on
Yeah.
insurance.
Mhm. That's-
God. Oh, Lord.
Here, this has nothing to do with your budget, but I always, you said a lot of the transient stuff is kind of calmed down, but you
It-
still have some of it.
Yes, we still have some of it, but it has calmed down considerably, it seems, this year.
And because at one point in time, we were talking about fencing your whole place and we didn't.
That's correct. Yeah, we were
Would
discussing
really like to
fencing
stay
it,
away
or, and you came up with the idea of putting the lighting in that seemed to work in some areas in downtown Longview. I think that lighting probably is a significant portion of the reduction that
Of the
we have.
reduction. Good.
The, we're still going to have some activity because there's kind of a sheltered area there by that back doorway, because the doorway is inset. And then the stairwell creates kind of a privacy area, as does by the front door. There's a retaining wall that creates a privacy area where people do their activities and things like that. But for the most part, 2025, we've had less incidences of having to clean up after messes or encampments. Also, the incidence of graffiti, although we still have it, I mean, there was times where I was putting a work order in 2 times a week, sometimes 3 times a week last year.
Just to.
And I
clean
felt
up.
so bad when Josh from facilities would come by constantly to clean up all the graffiti. It came to the point where I just said, leave me a bottle of the cleanup solution and we'll try to wipe up whatever we can, because I didn't want to call them all the time to come out. And as soon as they cleaned it up, it would get tagged again a day or 2 later. So that hasn't been happening like how it has been before. So it's been a lot better in that whole campus area. But again, we still are going to always have some kind of undesired activity there.
Yeah.
But those lights are super bright. I mean, if you,
Well, I
especially
think
as the
that
light,
was-
as it's getting darker now, drive by the museum on your way home when it gets
That was
dark.
the
and it's
idea
bright.
of them planting the super bright. So
Mhm.
I'm glad it helps out. I think the next step, at one point, I know, I have a friend, he has automatic sprinklers to keep the deer out. That's cool.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
And one thing,
We put a motion detector on the light so that if somebody sits in there for more than 5 minutes, it turns into a strobe and starts blinking. right
Starts
outside.
doing
It's driving
something, but-
Crazy.
but just the brightness has helped. So
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah.
and one thing along the lines of that too is the security that we have here has been very helpful. When I call the security to come, they're very responsive. Usually in a minute or 2, they're down there to check on things or make sure people need to move along. So having security here I'm sure it helps at this campus as well, but at our campus, and having a number I can call and directly get somebody who's really responsive has been very helpful. So I'm
Okay.
appreciative of security, but also facilities as well for their response to our needs.
Good. Good.
And there
Glad
he
to-
is. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's,
Yeah.
see,
Thank you, Joel.
Good.
He didn't pay me to say that.
No.
I was hoping his boss was listening.
Well, I'm happy that that's working better there. I think that's I've said it before, I think your museum is a good asset for our area, and so.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's wonderful that we can have that in our community here. We're a county with a little over 110,000 people, and the programming that we do, especially the school programming, is it just enriches the experience for all of our local school kids to either bring historical education to the schools, or when we're fortunate enough to have school groups come to the museum to see the museum as an asset.
Yeah,
I'm
And-
anxious to
and-
see a new reader board.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be nice too.
It'll be nice to see the reader board too. I can't wait to get that going too.
And I'm glad that you team up and do some things with the Discovery.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that was a good move for them too over there, and
Mhm.
we were able to help with, I don't know if you guys know that, but we were able to help with that a little bit too, get them
Mm.
Or,
Yeah, anything we can do to partner with other community organizations and with other county departments too. I've been working on something with Larry from the Department of Emergency Management on kind of, he does the disaster preparedness, but we live in a place that has had so many different natural disasters and other disasters that we can draw upon the historical perspective as well. So it's nice to be able to, connect with other departments within the county on projects.
I don't think there's many other places you could say they had a volcano.
No, we're,
Not that I know of.
Mhm.
Hawaii?
Yeah, yeah. Theirs is totally different.
Yeah.
Were you as disappointed as me? Because that's the only volcano I ever thought of. And when this was all going, before it's blowing, that's what I had in my mind. This is gonna ooze out and I said, that's gonna be kind of cool. And, but Dixie Lee Ray's
Mhm.
knew difference. She
Yeah.
said, that's a bomb, and she was right. I
Mhm.
always give her credit for that. She was right.
Mhm. Yeah, we get floods, fires, train wrecks, volcanoes,
Yeah.
everything.
Tsunamis.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Commissioners.
Thanks, Joseph.
Thanks, Joe.
And
Thanks we got you out early. Thank you.
oh, hey, it's early
Yeah.
for you, early for me. It works well for everybody.
Okay.
All right, have a good one. Take care.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
We're all good till next week. We go through another batch.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. We will adjourn. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.